Here we are back again. Sadly, our time together is starting to run quite short now, so we do still want to maximise that time for you. So now it gives me great pleasure to hand over to our Chair of Trustees, Tony, and David Quarmby, who are going to talk to you about AI.
Good morning, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? Yeah. That's good. This section is on the programme titled Innovations in AI. And in many ways, it should be innovations in AI and technology because they're integral to what's happening and benefiting us all in terms of what is out there. I'm going to do a short introduction, and then Tony is going to cover the differing AI models, or some of the AI models, and then we'll give you some examples of them in terms of ChatGPT and Gemini. And I will also, we've got some clips in terms of an exercise we did in terms of Perplexity, Ally, and I've forgotten the other one already. But there's three, Perplexity, Ally, and another one.
Gemini.
Oh, it is Gemini. We're doing Gemini twice, aren't we? Sorry.
Yeah.
And then we're going to look at some of the concerns and then open it up in terms of how it's going to go forward in terms of AI. And in many ways, AI, we've been talking about it since we came here on Friday and Saturday, hasn't it? And a lot of what I'd planned to say has already been said. So I just want to draw out a few themes, and a few themes that are very personal to me. When you're losing your eyesight, there's a sort of two major areas we have to deal with is navigation and mobility and access to information. And we've been talking a lot about navigation and mobility and access to information as well in terms of how we can do that using smart glasses. But, you know, they say that 70 to 80% of information is communicated visually. And when you think of that, there's a heck of a lot of information around us that we don't actually know anything about. We just have to manage. Now, AI and technology enables us not only to try and navigate more independently and safely, but it also gives us access to some of that information. And what we want is to be able to access the information that we need to do to access, to get around. Now, another theme that's run through has been one of my sort of key areas is inclusive design. And we need to look at that in terms of the various, not only models, but in terms of the technology that is linked to the models that we use. And a simple definition of inclusive design is that all products, services, and environments should be fully accessible and usable by the majority of people to the greatest extent without the need for adaptation or specialist design. Adaptation is an issue because, you know, it's too expensive to alter a lot of things once it's in place, and we get experience of that every day. Specialist design will always need to be there for us to a certain extent for some of the specific areas, but what we've got coming along is mainstream technology. And what that does is bring the cost down. And we've examples of that. You know, we've examples that in terms of inclusive technology with the Apple and Android phones, with all the accessibility features built in. And that also then allowed the development of a lot of apps. So in terms of the GPS, that was very expensive initially when you think of the Sendora GPS and the Trekkers, you know, very expensive at first. And then when you look at scanning solutions, remember the first Kurzweil, that was £75,000 in the 80s. And then that came down in price, and we used it on the Nokia phones. And then, you know, we could get it on the iPhone for £99. But very quickly, KNFB, who uses KNFB reader in this room now? We use free apps now, don't we, to a large extent? Be My Eyes and Seeing AI, etc. It makes things really accessible to us. So that's another theme that's running through in terms of assistive technology, specialised technology, and mainstream technology. And in terms of the models and in terms of the technology, we're on the edge, as we've been saying earlier, as Tommy was saying, of things that could really benefit us. The smart glasses is an example of that, the Meta Ray-Bans. And you know how I like my Meta Ray-Bans. But you've also got the Ally Solus glasses coming now with a sort of joint of mainstream and you know, specialist software. But you've got absolutely loads of glasses. Every day you get some more special glasses coming, whether it be the Viva Eagle, the Rodit, you know, absolutely loads of potential there. But again, it depends whether we can actually be able to use them, because once you put a display in there, and if that information's not going to be accessible to us, you know, it may have limitations. So in terms of the AI models, and Tony is now going to explain the various AI models, and we'll give you some examples of that. So over to you, Tony.
Okay, thanks, David. Again, yeah, can everybody hear me okay? Yes. Cool, okay. So, yeah, we hear a lot of talk about large language models, LLMs. So what are they exactly? They consist of huge volumes of text, which companies like Meta and Google farm from the internet, and also from any other massive sources of text that they can get their hands on. So books, papers, articles, magazines. I believe that a number of authors are actually suing one of these companies because, of course, book text is copyright, and they've gone and actually used a whole load of books to help populate large language models. So some interesting issues there. So having gathered this huge volume of text, they then use software to analyze it, to understand the English, or whatever language it happens to be, sentences. As a matter of interest, for those of you interested in programming, what kind of language might you use to do that kind of thing? Well, you could certainly write a program to do that kind of analysis in Python, particularly using one of the built-in libraries with Python for analyzing text. You might use a language called Lisp, which, though some people think it stands for lots of irrelevant, spurious parentheses, actually is quite good at text processing. But I suspect with the power and know-how available to these companies, I wouldn't be at all surprised to find that they've actually built their own languages specifically to do this job, because you know, if you can do it quickly and very efficiently, you're going to save a lot of time overall. So I'm going to largely focus on ChatGPT as an example of a large language model. So what happens is, having gathered this large volume of text and used software to analyze it, look for relationships, and look for sort of answers to questions within the text, they then go through a kind of fine-tuning stage, because software on its own, in its current state, isn't capable of doing the job entirely. So this second fine-tuning step often involves some level, at least, of human intervention. And so essentially, it's, in very broad terms, a two-step process. It's firstly gathering and analyzing, looking for patterns in the information, and then a tuning stage. And at the end of that, we have our large language model, which is hugely important in terms of intellectual property for organizations like Meta and Google and others. Having gathered this massive information and tuned it, it's an incredibly powerful thing, as the examples you may have already come across and the ones we're going to show will illustrate. But one thing to be very careful of, and I'm sure many of you will have heard already about the fact that they can hallucinate. In other words, they can tell downright lies. And the problem is, like any good liar, the lies is hidden often within a large volume of actually truthful information. So it's very difficult, if you like, to sort the wheat from the chaff. So a real word of warning that you should, treat with at least a degree of skepticism any initial results you get back from using one of these large language models. Another huge favor you can do yourself, we've already touched on this earlier in the weekend, is to be very specific about your prompt, your question to the large language model, to try to eliminate unnecessary, irrelevant information. Just to mention a few innovations that have happened in the last 12 months or so within ChatGPT, as well as simply being able to give a prompt, in other words, ask a question and get an answer back from it, which is what our examples illustrate. They've recently introduced something called deep research, and Gemini has this as well. And the difference between a simple prompt and deep research is that deep research is like asking somebody to go away over a period of days and produce a report, an in-depth report for you on something. So you wouldn't use it just for an everyday kind of ChatGPT query, but if you really want to go into depth on something, then that's the time to use deep research. And of course, the software won't take days to do it, but it might take a while. It might take 30 minutes to analyze in depth something you ask it to report on. And rather than a simple answer, they will actually compile a report. Apparently, the reports produced by deep research in Gemini are rather more structured and look a bit more like academic reports rather than the ones in Gemini, which are rather more concise, have tables and summaries and bullet points rather more. A couple of other recent innovations. ChatGPT now is multimodal. You can process images with it and audio. And the same is true with Gemini. You can actually, there is a part of the Gemini family, if you like, which you can use to generate your own videos just from text. So you could ask it to generate a video based on a textual specification, which and maybe give it certain characteristics like a country feel or something particular to nature, which is an incredibly powerful thing for us to be able to do. But to verify it, you'd really want to ask a couple of real live walking human beings, does it actually do what you originally intended? You can customize your own user profile within ChatGPT or Gemini. And also, ChatGPT has these things called GPTs. And for those of you who came to the programming talk yesterday, I talked about procedures or little sub-programs. These GPTs are like that. So if you've got a task that you'd like to run quite regularly, you can set up one of these GPTs and just call it up whenever you want to run that particular procedure. Okay, so that's enough chat from me. I'd like now to progress to a couple of demos. I'm just going to check the time because we are a bit tight for time in this session. Okay, so if you Just bear with me a moment.
Speech on.
Open files. I recorded
Files.
these demos
WhatsApp.
during the week just to speed things up a little bit, and I've just dumped them into the files utility on my iPhone.
AI talk. Yesterday 1 Castro. 28/demo 1 GPT on Words Thesaurus.
Okay, so
Demo 2 GPT.
I'm not going to do the first one because of time, but just to illustrate, I asked it to tell me how to use the thesaurus facility in Word from the point of view of somebody using a screen reader. So, and it came back, kind of straight away, and it was actually a fairly simple answer, in fact. But you can use this sort of thing to tell you how to do something, and you can even specify you need it from a screen reader user's point of view.
Demo 2 GPT Python. Demo 1 GPT on Words. Demo 2 GPT Python code generation.
Right. This is one especially for the people who came to the programming talk yesterday. It's to illustrate actually that although of course for many reasons it's worthwhile learning a programming language, you can actually get ChatGPT to generate code automatically.
Browse. Back button. Toolbar. Open in media timeline. Media timeline. Open and play. Share. But play button.
Okay, so hopefully this will be reasonably clear. Basically, I'm asking ChatGPT to generate a code for a simple program.
Play. List.
GP,
Button.
could you please generate a simple Python program to calculate the mean and standard deviation of n numbers? And please could you provide comments sufficiently clear that somebody new to Python should be able to understand what's going on?
Absolutely. Let me give you a nice simple Python program with plenty of comments to walk you through it. This program calculates the mean and standard deviation of a list of numbers. Def calculate mean and stad numbers. Check if the list is empty. If len numbers is equal 0, return none none. Return none for both mean and standard deviation if there are no numbers. Then calculate the mean average by summing all the numbers and dividing by how many there are. Mean is some numbers over len numbers. Then calculate the variance, which is the average of the squared differences from the mean. Variance is sum x minus mean equals squared for x in numbers over len numbers. The standard deviation is the square root of the variance, standard dev. Then we return both the mean and the standard deviation. Return mean, standard deviation. Example usage, let's say we have a list of numbers. Numbers are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Call the function with our list of numbers, mean and standard dev, calculate mean and stad numbers. Print out the results in a friendly way, mean, standard deviation, standard dev. In this code, each step is explained so that even if you're new to Python, you can follow along. You're basically just summing up the numbers to find the mean, then figuring out how spread out they are to find the standard deviation.
Okay.
Sorry,
Demo
Tony.
2 GPT Python list.
I couldn't
Button.
follow on that. It was
Demo 2
like
GPT
a foreign
Python code
language
generation.
to me.
Actions menu. Button.
I mean, obviously some of the code is very hard to hear just in audio, but of course you get this in text, so you can obviously read it character for character and understand the Python code.
Done. Demo 2 GPT Python code generation.
just bear with
Actions
me
menu.
one
List.
second.
Button. Demo 2 GPT done. Button. Demo 3 GPT on smart
Okay,
glasses.
the next thing I wanted to do is to ask it about smart glasses and to make some comparisons between the two. You'll notice that during this demo, I actually had to prompt ChatGPT to come up with more information which I knew it had omitted.
Ring mode.
So that's another reason why it really helps to have an idea of what you should be getting back.
Hey GP,
Close. Speak now.
could you tell me about smart glasses products that have got functionality that's useful to blind and low vision users?
Absolutely. So there are definitely smart glasses out there designed with features specifically to help blind and low vision users. For example, there's the Envision glasses, which can read out text from the environment, recognize objects, and even identify faces. There's also the Orcam My Eye, which is another device that attaches to regular glasses and does things like reading text and recognizing products. These kinds of features can be really empowering because they help users get information about their surroundings in real time.
Could you tell me,
Speak now.
are there some more recent examples of smart glasses with these kinds of features?
Absolutely. In the past couple of years, there have been a few new entries. For example, Envision has continued to update their glasses, and there are some newer models and lighter versions that have come out at a bit more affordable prices. There's also been some development in using AI to make these glasses even more intuitive, and some companies are exploring things like integrating them with popular voice assistants. So there's definitely a little wave of newer models that have come out more recently.
Does Meta have a product
Speak
in
now.
this space?
So Meta does have a product that's kind of in the smart glasses space, but it's a little different in focus. They have those Ray-Ban Story smart glasses, which are more designed for taking photos, recording video, and kind of doing social sharing. So they're not as specifically tailored for blind and low vision users as something like Envision or Cam. But they do have some accessibility features, and some people do find them helpful for kind of lighter accessibility needs.
I'm going to cut this particular demo short at that point, just to make a couple of quick points. I asked the question for ChatGPT to tell me about smart glasses that had features useful to blind and partially sighted users. I intentionally didn't ask it to tell me about glasses that had been designed for blind and partially sighted people, but in spite of that, it didn't tell me about the Meta glasses. Also, a bit later in that demo, it hadn't said anything really about prices, so I asked it to be about prices, to tell me about prices. Initially, it was rather vague, so I asked it to be more precise. It then was a bit more precise, and finally, I asked it to tabulate all the products that it had told me about and sort them in ascending order of price, which it did rather nicely. But that kind of illustrates, well, you know, it'll give you some information, but it doesn't necessarily give you all the information in spite of how carefully you kind of word the question. I'm going to show you one final demo.
List. Demo 3
just by
GPT on
way
smart glasses.
of
Actions menu.
comparison.
Done. Button. Play. Done. Button.
So
Demo 3 GPT
I
on
asked
smart.
pretty much exactly the same question of Gemini. I used Gemini Live because I wanted to do it kind of in a vocal style for demonstration purposes. So I asked it pretty much the same question. Just a word of warning, please don't let your judgment about ChatGPT versus Gemini be influenced by my choice of the voice for each of these systems, because the voice I use for ChatGPT, and I'm really sorry that actually over the speakers here, it really didn't seem to me quite as clear as it did when I did the thing live. But you'll hear in a second that the voice I use for Gemini is totally different. But that's just my choice of the voices, my preferences. In all these, well, certainly in ChatGPT and Gemini, you can choose what kind of voice it uses for its output.
Demo 4 Gemini on smart glasses. Demo 5 Gemini on JAWS. Demo 4 Gemini on smart glasses. Browse. Back button. To list. But Demo 4 Gemini. Done. Button. Play. Button.
I wanted
List
to compare
button.
the response that Gemini gives about smart glasses to the one we got from ChatGPT. So I'm on the main Gemini screen and I want to do this in a similar vocal style. So I'm going to choose the
Go live. Button.
Go Live button and let's see how we go.
Go live. Turn off captions. Button.
Hi Gemini, could you tell me about smart glasses that have got functionality that's useful to blind and low vision users?
Some of the best options out there are Envision glasses, which can read text out loud, and Iris Vision, which uses a smartphone camera to magnify and enhance what the user is seeing. There's also Orcam My Eye, a small device that attaches to glasses and can read text, recognize faces, and identify products. Would you like me to find out more about any of these?
Yes, please. Could you tell me about the prices of these and compare their functionality?
Envision glasses are around £2,695, and Orcam My Eye can range from £4,000 to £6,000. Iris Vision is a bit more affordable at roughly £2,995. In terms of functionality, Envision glasses excel at reading text aloud and capturing documents, while Orcam MyEye is known for its facial recognition and product identification capabilities. Iris Vision focuses on magnifying and enhancing the user's view. Would you like a more detailed breakdown of any of these options?
I heard that there is soon to be a cheaper version of the Envision glasses. Could you let me know about these?
Yes, Envision recently launched a more affordable version of their glasses called Envision Home. It has the same core features as the original Envision glasses, like reading text and describing scenes, but it doesn't have the call feature for connecting with support agents. Envision Home is priced at £1,799, making it a more accessible option.
I heard that there could be a version of Envision glasses priced within the low hundreds of pounds. Do you know anything about these?
I haven't found any information about Envision glasses being priced in the low hundreds of pounds. The most affordable option I found is the Envision Home Edition, which is around £1,799. It's possible that there might be some older models or refurbished options available at lower prices, but I couldn't find any specific details on those.
Does Meta have a product in this space?
Yes, Meta has a product called Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses. They're designed for capturing photos and videos, listening to music and calls, and interacting with Meta AI. However, they aren't specifically designed for accessibility in the same way as Envision or Orcam.
Okay, I'm going to cut it there because Dave's got some further demos to show. But you see how I had to actually tease the information out of both Gemini and ChatGPT in this particular case.
Can I just comment there very quickly, Tony? I just wondered which models of ChatGPT and Gemini, whether they were free versions or older versions, because it seemed to be getting not up-to-date information. So
ChatGPT, which did get correct information eventually about the Envision glasses, that was GPT-5.
Right.
So that is up to date. But yeah, fair point. I'm not sure which model of Gemini that was.
Yeah, because all of them have a sort of free version. And then if you pay for them, then you not only get faster responses, but it opens up other sort of models that you can actually use. And most of them now, you can, in some stages, select which model you want to use. You know, it'll say Claude or other ones. My clips, Mark's going to play, and it's of a simple exercise of 4 questions, and we're using Perplexity, Ally, and Gemini again. And you'll just notice the difference in terms of it. A simple exercise about being here at Harrogate. Up to you.
Won't be a second. Because we just had a slight technical issue in that my laptop decided to run out of batteries just at the time.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it's okay. We won't be. Hayden, if you could maybe have a look at
David,
if you could do the points you want people to listen for while I'm quickly...
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, the exercise was, we're here at Harrogate in a hotel. What can you tell me about this hotel? And they'll all tell you something slightly different. Then it's, how do I get to Harrogate railway station? And where can I travel to from Harrogate railway station? And then I've got to get a train at 3 minutes past, after 3 p.m. on a Sunday. Can you give me the times of the trains? And, you know, one will tell you very convincingly what times they are, but they're not stuck to a timetable. And others will say, you should check this out with, etc.
We're good to go now, David. So would you like me to go with Ally or Perplexity or Gemini?
Go with any, really.
We'll go with Ally.
Okay.
And just to point out, in terms of all of these clips, the first part of it, when David questions, you'll hear the length of pause. But later on, the responses will seem much quicker. But that's because we purposely edited out the delay. Okay. But on the first question, you'll get the evidence of how long the delay is. So Ally first of all.
Okay.
How's everything?
Fine, Nancy, thank you. I'm in Harrogate, staying at the Old Swan Hotel. Can you tell me anything about the hotel?
The Old Swan Hotel in Harrogate is a historic and elegant Victorian hotel built in 1840, known as one of the town's finest accommodations. It offers 136 traditionally styled bedrooms and 10 individually designed suites, some featuring 4-poster beds and roll-top baths.
Nancy, I've to travel to Harrogate railway station on Sunday. How will I get there?
To travel from the Old Swan Hotel to Harrogate railway station on Sunday, here are some common travel options. 1. Taxi or rideshare. The easiest and most convenient way, especially if you have luggage. The journey is very short, around 1 mile, and will take about 5 to 10 minutes. 2. Walking. If you prefer walking, the station is roughly a 20-minute walk from the hotel, depending on your pace. The route is straightforward through the town center. 3. Bus. There may be local bus services from Harrogate Town Center to the railway station. I can check the bus routes
Where-
and schedule.
Nancy, where can I travel to from Harrogate railway station?
From Harrogate Railway Station, you can catch trains to several key destinations, primarily served by Northern and LNER services. Leeds. Regular Northern services connect Harrogate to Leeds in about 32 minutes. York. Northern trains also run from Harrogate to York in approximately 34 minutes. London King's Cross. LNER operates services from Harrogate to London King's Cross, taking roughly 2 hours and 58 minutes.
On Sunday,
There's-
I've to travel to Leeds after 3 p.m. Can you give me times of trains?
There are no events scheduled for your Sunday afternoon, so you should be free to travel. For train times from Harrogate to Leeds after 3 p.m. on Sunday, I can help you find the exact train schedule. Let me check the train times for you. For Sunday trains from Harrogate to Leeds departing after 3 p.m., trains typically run every 15 to 30 minutes, with direct services taking about 30 to 35 minutes. The last train usually leaves around 11:20 p.m.
Thank
Key
you,
details-
Nancy.
Okay.
Do you want perplexity?
Yes, we can go on to perplexity. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Ally.
Good morning.
Good morning. How can I assist you today?
I'm staying at the Old Swan Hotel in Harrogate. Can you tell me anything about it? Perplexity?
The Old Swan Hotel in Harrogate is a historic hotel known for its charming architecture and picturesque surroundings. It dates back to the 19th century, and it's famous for its beautiful gardens and elegant interiors. The hotel also has a rich history, including being a favorite retreat of Agatha Christie during her disappearance in 1926. The hotel offers a comfortable stay with various amenities, including a restaurant and bar, and is well situated for exploring the historic town of Harrogate.
Thank you, Perplexity. On Sunday, I have to travel to Harrogate railway station. How will I get there?
To get from the Old Swan Hotel to Harrogate railway station, you can take a short drive or even walk if you prefer. The distance is about a mile, so the drive would take roughly 5 to 10 minutes depending on traffic. If you walk, it would take around 20 to 25 minutes. The route is straightforward and mostly along well-marked roads. Would you like directions or a map on your phone?
No, thank you. Where can I get to from Harrogate railway station? Perplexity.
Near Harrogate railway station, you can visit several interesting places. The Royal Pump Room Museum is a short walk away, offering insight into Harrogate.
Perplexity. No, I mean, where can I travel to from Harrogate railway station?
From Harrogate railway station, you can easily travel to several popular destinations in the region. Here are a few suggestions. 1. York, a historic city known for its stunning cathedral, medieval streets, and the famous York Minster. It's just about a 40-minute train ride away. 2. Leeds, a vibrant city offering great shopping, dining, and nightlife. It's about a 30-minute train journey. 3. Knaresborough, a picturesque town with charming streets and the impressive Knaresborough Castle. It's a short train ride away.
On Sunday, I have to travel to Leeds after 3 p.m. Can you give me times of trains?
For train times from Harrogate to Leeds on Sunday after 3 p.m, there are several options available. Trains typically run every hour or so, with direct services that take about 30 to 40 minutes. For the most accurate and up-to-date schedule, it's best to check a train service provider like Northern Rail.
Can you check?
For a train journey from Harrogate to Leeds on Sunday after 3 p.m, there are typically trains departing approximately every hour. Some options include trains around 3:30 p.m, 4:30 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay, just a couple of comments there on with Perplexity. You heard me say Perplexity several times, and it had this habit of just hanging there and not doing anything. So it was a long pause. So I had to just say Perplexity to start in again. And notice in terms of the prompt, I said, where can I go from Harrogate Railway Station? Whereas the first time I said, where can I travel to from Harrogate Railway Station? So that prompt got a different response. So it's important in terms of trying to get your prompts correct. But then at the end there, it was talking a load of rubbish really in terms of every hour. But I could have argued with it, and it still would have argued back there every hour. So you've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to verify in that. Have we time to...
I think you've got time for Gemini, yeah?
Yeah, go on, Gemini, yeah.
Good morning. What's on your mind today?
I'm
Anything I can help you with?
Yes, I'm in Harrogate, staying at the Old Swan Hotel. Can you tell me anything about it?
The Old Swan Hotel in Harrogate is a pretty famous place. It's got a long history, dating all the way back to 1840, and it's known for being where Agatha Christie was found after she disappeared for 11 days in 1926. It's a beautiful building with a classic, elegant feel. Are you interested in its history, or would you like some other information?
No, I'm going to Harrogate Railway Station. How do I get there?
You're in luck. Harrogate Railway Station is only 0.7 miles from the Old Swan Hotel. It should take about 6 minutes to drive there via the A61.
I'm blind, so I can't actually drive.
No problem at all. Walking to Harrogate Railway Station from the Old Swan Hotel will take about 14 minutes, and it's 0.6 miles.
Okay. Where can I travel to from Harrogate Railway Station?
From Harrogate Railway Station, you can travel to destinations like Leeds and York. You can also connect to other major cities from there.
Okay. On Sunday, I have to travel to Leeds after 3 p.m. Can you give me times of trains?
All right. There are trains leaving Harrogate for Leeds on Sunday at 3:17 p.m, 3:47 p.m, 4:17 p.m, and 4:47 p.m. Is there anything else I can help you with?
That's fine. Thank you very much.
I just say there, don't believe Gemini. We repeated that several times, and it came up with the same time, 3:70, etc. It sounds convincing, but when we look at the timetable, it's what are they? 2:52 and 3:22.
Yeah, 52 and 22. Yeah, 52 and 22. It's.
What I say is the potential is there, but we're not quite there yet in terms of. But it will come. You know, in terms of humans getting it right, often we can get it wrong, but we can actually repeat it getting wrong. when you correct an AI model, it's more likely to get it right the next time. So, you know, so it's a matter of learn, and we're at the early days, so we're at the edge. But I suppose the point is that it was all voice to voice. And with the Ally one, it's like a personal assistant that you just have a chat with, really, and ask questions, and it will go to the internet to get you the information you want, or what have you. And it's using various models. It's using, it actually uses Llama, ChatGPT, it uses Gemini. So it depends on what it's doing, what model it's going to use to actually access the information, whether it's reading text, whether it's giving a scene description. It's developed in that sort of way to tune in to actually meet the requirements of blind and partially sighted people. Whereas the other two, Gemini and Perplexity, Perplexity is very good in terms of research and research papers, and it will give you all the various sources of that. And again, you can use different models, and it will depend whether it's the free version or the paid version, and the same in terms of Gemini. Of them all, Gemini was the most sort of quickest, responsive, etc. But as you saw there, you can't trust everything that Gemini comes out with. But
should we say a few words about
concerns? Yeah. Go on then, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are, like any new technology, pretty much some real concerns about AI in general. We're not necessarily just talking about these specific systems now. I'll give you an example. There was a recent survey of employers asking, essentially, would they employ visually impaired people, maybe for specific tasks and so on. And, well, we all know the statistics, and the results of the survey, sadly, were reflective of the status quo. A lot of employers were really rather negative about employing or even giving a chance of an interview for a visually impaired person. Now, the point I'm making is, if that information is available on the web and gets built into a large language model, then it's building in inherent human biases that already exist. And that's going to be reflected in the responses that people receive from those large language models. So inbuilt bias or inherited bias, if you like, from human beings is one really significant issue that we need to be aware of, and something that we need to be able to draw to people's attention. That you know, the information they're getting back simply sometimes reflects the false concerns or overcautious attitudes towards minority groups.
Privacy of data is another key one. You wouldn't want Gemini to read your bank statement and you put up that information. Now, Ally say that they look after your data and it's private. They don't actually use it to learn for educating the model at all. But again, I would be suspicious and wouldn't want to use it to read bank statements as such. Although that's really fine-tuned to actually reading things for you. But you know, there are lots of genuine concerns about artificial intelligence, and we could spend you know, the full morning or even a full day just going through all those various concerns and looking at them. So although AI gives us a great potential in what it can offer us for the future, you've got to be aware of the concerns, use it very carefully, and verify, really. You've got to be in control, not AI.
So can we thank Tony and can we thank David